I started to realize, hey, we're onto something here. We can do something really amazing. And I was like, okay, I could see this is getting better. We started to sell our software to people, and it was catching on. But at home, it wasn't getting better. Yeah. And so my wife, Charisse, who's super supportive, she's amazing. She just kept saying, look, you're not bringing home any money. You got to go get a job. You got to go do something different. And I kept persuading her to stick with it. It's going to work. I could see it now. It was going to work. Well, about 2.5 years in, one night, after many of the conversations where I'd persuaded her to stick with it, she finally just said, I can't do it anymore. This isn't working. You have to go look for a job tomorrow when you go to work. And she made me promise that I would do it. And it was, I had tried like crazy to persuade her, and I finally realized this time it wasn't going to work. So I said, okay, I will go in and I will look for a job. And I kind of had reasoned that maybe I'd go look for a job for a while, and then I would come back around to Infusionsoft with my partners, because I just knew it was going to be successful by that point. But I went into the office. I started to, sat down just like this, started doing my work and working with leads and customers. And before I knew it, the day was over, and I hadn't done one bit of job searching. And it was time to go home. I started to walk out. I walked out, and I just felt awful because, number one, I hadn't done what I told Charisse I was going to do. But more importantly, I was very afraid of what was going to happen, because she really had given me the ultimatum the night before and said, I just can't do this anymore. By the way, we had 4 kids, $100,000 student debt. Lest I paint my wife, my saintly wife, as anything other than who she actually is. I mean, she had been totally supportive. We were drowning in debt. The creditors were calling like crazy. We truly were on the verge of bankruptcy, and I was in denial. I was like, this is going to work. It's going to work, So as I'm driving home, I'm petrified. And I'm feeling like I might have, made the fatal last mistake. And so I'll never forget that day. I walked into our house, and I was so worried about what she was going to say. She was in the kitchen. I came around the corner, and her back was to me, and she turned around and she said, did you look for a job today? And I said no. And she walked across the kitchen and came over, and she just gave me a huge hug. And she said, just keep going. It's going to be okay. Wow. Just keep going. So that, when we talk about the meaning of Keap, we understand it at a very deep level. Yeah. And that story that I share, that's not just my story. You go to any entrepreneur, and they've had a story that's something like that, where it was very dark, and they were like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And the message is really about just don't quit. Don't give up. Keep going. And so that's my story, and I wish I could say that ever since then it was pure bliss and ease, but that's not the way it is. Every entrepreneur listening knows that there are good times and bad times. But I do believe that it is in our minds that we win the battle. And if we allow ourselves to get taken out by all of the negativity and all of the voices, and sometimes those voices are our best friends and our spouses and ourselves, but if we allow ourselves to get taken out by the voices, then we don't achieve the success we're after. So that's what's at the heart of our brand. My co-founders have the same stories, and all of our employees who have owned their own businesses have those stories. And it's just, it's really critical for us to get that message to the world that small business success requires that you keep at it.